needs to go away. Social studies, again, I don't know why it keeps turning out. This thing makes me nervous. All right, so who is James Monroe, first and foremost? He would be on page 119. Who is James Monroe, Owen? The fifth president. So, the big thing that we are dealing with right now is trading. Getting back money so we can start getting rid of our debt. So what is one concern? Because what did we just get done with? The war of what? We had just gotten out of a war. Yes, Christian?
The war of 1800.
No, it is in the 1800s. You are correct in that. Go ahead, Christian.
The war of 18.
Who would like to help him? Olivia.
1812.
Yeah, the War of 1812. All right, so what is the Monroe Doctrine on the bottom of 119? Who would like to tell me? These are ideas that Monroe had to help America. Who can tell me what the Monroe Doctrine is? So you're going to have to kind of scan above the bold as well. M.
It was a plan to protect the independent nations in the Americas.
Right. So they're still having problems with those pesky the Brits. They don't want to leave us alone, so they're trying to come up with ways to protect the early settlements or the early states of America. So the differences of North and South are very vast. We have the northern part of America, the northern states. Let's look on page 122 and 123. The maps of the North and South. What was the big conflict concerning North and South? What did the North predominantly grow? What was their major way of making money? Ella? Yes. They were very big on agriculture. And cotton was a huge crop. Why was cotton so ideal to grow for this time versus, let's say, pumpkins? Tyson?
Pumpkins would spoil very easy, and cotton does.
Very good. You have to keep in mind that they grow the cotton and then they have to ship it oftentimes to different countries. So you really don't want a crop that is going to spoil. So cotton was ideal, but cotton is very difficult to pick and time-consuming to manufacture. What was this North predominantly known for? Agriculture or something else? James.
Shipping and manufacturing.
That's right. Shipping and manufacturing. So there is this thing called slavery.
Woohoo!
Wait, what?
What? Wait, what? That was
No.
sarcasm.
Thank you. Slavery was predominantly in what area of the United States? The North or the South? And why? Emmy? Hmm? Is slavery in the North or South, mainly? The large percentage of slavery is where, Tessa? Yes, why? We just got done talking about particular crop. Plantations were growing a lot of what? That required a huge amount of labor. What was difficult to pick? James? Yes. Huge plantations. So the southern states were for slavery, whereas the northern states were not.
Good for you, Northern.
And so what is the Missouri Compromise? That is what we are finding on 122 verses 123. So you have the split, north and south, very adamant about slavery. North, no, south, yes. So a lot of their power is political, voting. So as of before the compromise, there are 12 states in each region, which means they have an equal voting opportunities when they go before Congress. However, we have a state called Missouri. What was the compromise and what was going on that was a problem? Keep in mind, voting issues. What is going to happen if Missouri goes north or if Missouri goes south? What is that going to do to the political power and voting sway? Tyson.
Whatever one, which it goes to, they would have stronger control over Congress.
They'd have more votes. Yes. And so it became a problem. What was the Missouri Compromise? Who remembers? So look on, oh no, 23. 123, Missouri went pink. What happens to the North then? What did they do? What was the compromise? What does compromise mean first and foremost? Ella.
It means that, it's something that they don't, not everyone likes, but something they can do that.
Beautiful. So do you know what the Missouri Compromise is?
Yeah. So, Missouri, was slave, but then,
They just took a chunk out of Massachusetts and made a new state, Maine. And that went to the north. So they now have equal voting again. So that is where we are at. I want you to turn to page 64 in your manual.
Ooh, it's a house.
That is a factory.
Oh.
That would be a giant house. That would be the Buckingham Palace. That's not even big enough. Buckingham Palace is huge. All right, so now you are going to have to switch back and forth between the Missouri Compromise and the Monroe Doctrine. So you're going to write MD if it is the Monroe Doctrine, or MC if it is the Missouri Compromise. Now just keep in mind what both are. Missouri entered the United States as a slave state. Is that MC or MD? I'm on page 64 in your manual. Sam, where is your manual? Is that the Missouri or Monroe? Number 1. Missouri or Monroe? I'm waiting for everyone to make up their minds. I'm not going to do this work for you. Let's go. Toby? Yes. Because remember, the Missouri Compromise is all about Missouri. Is it going to go red or is it going to go pink? Slave or free? Congress hoped that this would be a permanent solution to the slave problem. Would that be the Monroe Doctrine or the Missouri Compromise, Jeremiah?
Missouri Compromise.
Exactly. Was it a permanent solution for the slave problem?
Yes.
No. Not even close. All right, this plan protected the independent countries in the Americas. Is that the Monroe or Missouri? Jonathan?
Monroe Doctrine.
Yes, because what is the Monroe Doctrine about? Jonathan?
So other countries don't bother America.
Right. Maine entered the United States as a free state. Tessa? Yes. So MC. This plan said that European nations should not form new colonies in the Americas. Is that Missouri or Monroe? We are back talking about the new colonies in Europe. Is that Missouri or Monroe? I'm waiting for everyone to have their hands up. I'm not going to give you the answers unless I have everybody participating. So remember, Missouri is about slavery versus free states, and the Monroe is about keeping Europe out of the new colonies. So again, I'll read, this plan said that European nations should not form new colonies in the Americas. Emma? Yes. All right. I promised you a study hall, so we are going to do that now. I wanted you to make sure you understood the difference between those two. So, if you have math to do, finish that up.